Hi, Virgo, and welcome back to Leigh's Intuitive Tarot. My name is Leigh, and today we're going to take a look at your person and see what's going on between you and them in this connection, okay? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to book a personal reading, there is a link in the description box below. Let's go ahead and get started, okay? I hope y'all are doing well today. I am doing well. Let's get into this and see what's going on with you and your person. Okay. Whew, you got a lot of people in this reading. All right. So overall energy for this weekly reading is the Knight of Cups. Water sign or someone with a lot of water in their chart, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Someone wants to give a love offer, okay? Someone wants to come forward and have, their heart on their sleeve and, get out on one knee, not necessarily to ask you for marriage, but to let you know how they feel to bare their soul to you, so to speak. Underneath this, we have the Ace of Pentacles. I feel like this is what you want. You want something stable, grounded, committed, okay? Because with the Five of Cups, there may have been some type of heartbreak, breakup, separation in this connection. And with the Ace of Wands, you want to just have that fresh new start, but you also want it to be something that can last, that may be, that may be able to stand the test of time with the Ace of Pentacles, okay? All right. Put this back in where it went. Okay, we're going to start off by clarifying the Knight of Cups. Some of y'all are angry by what happened between you and this person, okay? And you're hiding it, all right? And Spirit is telling you that's not good. You got to let that go, okay? You got to figure out a way to let it go. Because you desire this person regardless of the anger. I feel like that anger may be covering up the passion and the desire that you have for them, but you do have it, okay? All right, yeah, because they've triggered you. They've triggered you a lot in this connection. But that's what they were supposed to do. Like we get mad and get pissed off about them, but this was what was supposed to happen, okay? All right. Yeah, see, it's a karmic issue. You're dealing with karma, paying off debts, karmic debts from the past life and from the current life. And then we also have flow. Spirit, this is what Spirit wants you to do, to stay detached, to remain detached, to be okay with, when you sit in that place, let's say you go out to eat, right? And you're hungry, but you're just a little bit hungry. And, let's say you and someone else is discussing you going out to eat. And, when you sit in that energy where you're like, well, I'm not starving, but I could eat. Okay. So you would be okay if you didn't eat and you would be okay if you did eat. That's the same energy you need to sit in when it comes to this person. You got to be okay if they're there and you got to be okay if they're not there. Okay. So this is about accepting and no longer feeling the need to alter or control the situation. Because I feel like a lot of us going through these situations, we're control freaks that maybe in other aspects of our life or maybe throughout our life, we may not have been able to control certain things. Because like when you're a kid, everything is based on what your parents want to do in a situation. Your wants and needs, are not necessarily going to be taken into account when your parents make decisions. And it's the same thing, when you become a teenager, all the way up until you're an adult. And so if you've been in a situation or a lifestyle where you've been stripped of that control all of your life, it may manifest itself by you needing to control every aspect of your life. But I got news for you, Virgo. In this reading, I mean, not in this reading, but in this situation, none of us have control. Okay. All right. So let's pull some cards for your person. Yeah, your person wants to be closer to you. I feel like they're wanting to work on intimacy, but there is somebody else in the picture because I just saw that karmic partner card. They're seeing signs. Spirit is giving them signs on the direction that they need to go in, but it remains to be seen. See, they're still suppressing. They're not ready to do what it is they need to do is what it looks like. Let's pull the cards and see what Spirit says. Knight of Cups. Yeah. See, your person is learning how to step into their warrior energy. So this is like the Empress energy. So this is about them, returning to love, awakening and surrendering and letting go of that ego and pride. so that they can come towards you. Okay. All right. So the first card we're going to take a look at represents your energy for this week. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So you are slowly moving back towards this person. You're inching towards them with the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. You're inching towards them with that desire to give them, that pentacle for, like I said, the stable, grounded, long-term relationship. Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. And this is also talking about you working on your abundance as well. So you may be focusing on things that bring you, passion, your passion projects, things that light you up. And that's what Spirit wants you to do. Okay. And if you're not doing that, that's the direction, that's the path that Spirit is illuminating for you. Okay. All right. So let me get, it's another card I wanted to pull. Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, see, this is a twin flame connection. This is a twin flame connection. So it's talking about the yin yang balance, union and duality. You complement each other and you're also polar opposites. Okay. Temperance. Give me 1 second. I'm just pulling the card for your person. Ooh, they watching you, Virgo. They are watching you. Okay, so the card that represents your person is the Temperance card. This is Sagittarius energy. This is about them needing to balance themselves out. That's why they running around here acting like a fucking lunatic, because they're not balanced. They sit more in pride and ego than they do in anything else. They push away and suppress their emotions. I just showed you the suppression card when I was cracking the deck to shuffle it. Okay, so this is about them learning moderation, learning that, vulnerability and feelings are not dirty. Okay, that there's a time and place for both, just like anything else. And a truly balanced person knows this, and they keep themselves on an even keel, knowing that, they can pull from the logical side if they need to, and pull from the emotional side if they need to. Okay, so the clarification card we got is clarity. This is about your person understanding that they have this need for balance. Okay, this is about them being able to see things clearly, understanding situations, people, places, and things for what they truly are. Because if they're in a situation with with a karmic partner, they may not be ready to address certain things, because usually the relationships that your person chooses to take the place of you, they never fulfill them or satisfy them, because what they're looking for is they're trying to prove to themselves that what they feel for you, they can feel for someone else. But that won't ever happen, because as I've told you before, in a twin flame connection, these feelings that you have for this person, they can't be duplicated with anyone else. Because I can tell you that from experience, because I can feel the new person that's coming towards me. Because like I said, I've decided to turn away from my twin, because he is not, he's not doing what he needs to do. So Spirit, has put someone else in my path, and I feel this person, I feel the love for them. It's strong. It's a very strong connection. I feel the love. I feel, feel very good about it, but it's not on this level. It's different. It's still good. It's still fulfilling. Okay. It's still, I'm all, wrapped up in it, but it's not the same. This love is just, I don't know. I guess it's because it's your twin. Okay. All right. So the clarification card we have for temperance and clarity is the sunglasses. So they're watching you, they're looking, they're stalking. So it could be, they could be frequenting places that you go to. This could also talk about, online, like social media, looking at your Instagram or your YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel, or, TikTok, whatever it is. And they are, keeping an eye on you. They're keeping tabs on you while they're with somebody else in another connection. But like I said, usually in these other connections, they're miserable with this person, because they're looking for a replacement of you, and there is no replacement. Okay. All right. So when it comes to the energy between the both of you, we have the King of Cups. Water sign is someone with a lot of water in their chart. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. For me, this is Cancer. So this person is, this is about both of you sitting in an energy where you want to balance this out. So I feel like deep down inside, deep down in their, with their higher self, and deep down inside with their, in their subconscious mind, they want to fix this. They realize they need balance. They realize that this connection needs to be balanced out. All right. And, you know, of course you want it too. You want to be with them. I feel like, you know, or you did in the beginning. Let's say that. So this is about you, for balance, to balance yourself out, about you learning to be assertive. So this is about you standing up for yourself in a positive way and not taking it to a negative place with the anger and so on and so forth. So being able to get your point across without getting upset or upsetting other people. Okay. All right. So when it comes to your person, let's see what we come up with. Yeah. Teamwork. See, this person on a subconscious level, they want to work with you. They want to collaborate with you. They want the two of you to have a relationship with each other, but whether or not they can get it together in time, that remains to be seen. But I mean, it's up to you. You have a choice, you know. And I always tell y'all, it doesn't matter whatever it is you want. Okay, don't allow someone else to sway your decision, because like me, I'm choosing to not go back to my person, because from what I can feel intuitively and what spirit tells me, they're not ready. That if I went back to them, the same thing would repeat, because they haven't sat in the energy and balanced themselves out. You know, whereas I'm, you know, working on healing. I don't hit the mark every day, but I'm working on healing myself and leveling up. Okay. So, but if your person steps in and they're healed and they're ready and you want to be with them, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that, because I feel like it's a big person that can get over the things that, you know, they've done to you, because I feel like, you know, you've been hurt in this connection just like all the other you know, collective has in their signs. Okay. But like I said, if you can get over that and move through it, you go ahead. I mean, I've pretty much gotten over what my person did to me, but and I, you know, and I'm forgiving them. I've forgiven them most of the things that they've done, but I don't know. Like I said, something about what happened just left a bad taste in my mouth. And I wish them the best. And I don't wish anything bad on them. But I feel like my place is with someone else. That's what I feel like. I feel like this person was just put in my life to teach me certain things, because not everybody is supposed to end up with their twin. Okay. And I feel like this person was placed in my life to teach me a lesson about self-love and what I deserve and what I don't deserve. And so I feel like that lesson has been learned. And so, you know, like I said, my place is with someone else. Okay. All right. So, or where I belong is with someone else. So the card that we have that fell is love call. So it says expressing love, messages of love, thinking of you, informing you. So they're wanting to come forward and tell you how they feel. But as I told you, if they're not balanced, okay, they're showing up in temperance energy and that they have clarity. So it could be for some of you that your person may have gone through their transformation, and they may be ready to come forward, because you see they're showing up saying that they want to have teamwork. And, you know, I see balance on their side with temperance, and I see balance, you know, in the energy between both of you. So it could be a situation where the two of you may come together and be able to start over the right way. Okay. All right. So you may be hearing from this person, you know, text message. They may contact you on social media, because I feel like some of you got this person blocked, and rightfully so. Okay. Because if somebody was acting crazy like that with me, because I blocked my person. If you want to hear my story, there is a video, the second video to the Twin Flame Chronicles, that tells my story. It's long, but it goes through everything. And it's not just my story. I talk about this whole twin flame journey and what, you know, how things are supposed to play out. Okay. All right. So when it comes to the outcome that we have for the both of you, it's the King of Wands, fire sign, or someone with a lot of fire in their chart, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So I feel like with this card, it's about both of you getting yourselves together, because I feel like for some of you, you do want to end up with this person. I don't feel like it's everybody. I feel like some of you are like, you know, I gotta go. But I feel like there are some of you that are watching that do want to be with your person. But see, this is what's holding you back. Trauma wounds. I think this came up for you last week. I think it may have, or it might have been another sign last week, but it did come up for somebody last week. So this is talking about any type of sexual abuse, which may cause depression, anxiety, and or anger as an adult. This has to be dealt with, okay? Because it's only going to slow you down. This is like the hugest bag you can carry, okay? Carry around. And if you don't unpack this, your relationships are never going to be what you want them to be, because you got to be able to be free, okay? And I'm not saying you got to completely heal it in 24 hours or less. That's not what Spirit is saying, but you have to start to work through this, is what Spirit is saying. Okay, you can't just turn away from it, because as I've told you in the past, all the things that you don't unpack, all the things that you don't look at are going to come up. Some of them are going to explode into your next relationship. And you don't want, because it doesn't matter. Remember, I tell y'all, some people I feel like want to get around the healing. I'm not saying it's you, but some people want to get around the healing by saying, okay, well, I just won't choose the twin and I'll just go off and find somebody else. But see, what you don't understand is, think about it. Throughout your life, for a lot of you, it's been a pattern of these same things occurring again and again and again and again. And the only difference between what happened to you in the past and what's going on with you in this twin is that the twin is exacerbating it. They're inflating it. They're making it larger, because it's like spirit, your soul, your higher self is trying to get your attention, trying to give you a shake and say, hey, these things need to be looked at. And for you, Virgo, one of these things is this. Okay. All right. So when it comes to your person, they're doing a lot of soul searching. I feel like they're sitting in hermit energy. Maybe they may have, they're trying to decide to release that third party. But I did see them in the cards. And when I crack the cards, what I see when I crack the cards, when I'm sitting in the energy, it's something about what's going on in your situation. Okay. All right. Let me clarify. King of Wands, trauma wounds, and soul searching spirit. Yeah. See, this is about putting these old things like these trauma wounds need to be put to bed. There's this guy that I watch, and he always talks about feelings that are buried alive never die. And I feel like that's what this is. This is something that, you did the best you could, Virgo, I feel like, to bury this, but it has to be put into the coffin. It has to be put away the right way in order for you to be able to move forward and be free and have whatever relationship you want with anybody. Because these things don't just impact romantic relationships. They impact romantic relationships, I feel like, the most, but they also impact how you deal with every aspect of your life. Okay. All right. So in order for there to be a new beginning, there needs to be an ending to certain things. And so Spirit is trying to let you know. I feel like they're showing you your biggest wound that you need to deal with. Okay. All right. Let's get some messages from Spirit. We'll get some messages from your person too. Okay, we've got two messages that fell. The first one is reciprocity. Okay, it says adjustments are required to create balance and restore harmony. Okay, but it's good that we see the Temperance card on your person's side. So I feel like they are working on it. But when they show up, you've got to use discernment and see what type of energy they're sitting in. You need to ask about the third party. Ask if they're with anybody. You need to listen to what they're saying, and you also need to speak your truth to them as well, because this is about both of you speaking, not just you listening to what they're saying. You need to let them know what they did, how it made you feel, and get your own closure out of the situation. Okay. Okay. Then we've got mirroring. It says you are reflecting the hidden fears, thoughts, and emotions of your partner. Okay. So a lot of times the way you're feeling, they're feeling that way as well. Okay. Now we're going to get some messages of love. Okay, some of y'all, you're working yourselves too hard. Okay, so first of all, intuition. Spirit is saying, you already know the answer you seek. That's what Spirit is telling you too. When this person comes in, listen to your intuition, because let me tell you this: when they were telling me about my person coming back in, I could feel my intuition screaming at me. And I've never had it scream at me like that, saying, you know, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you go back. So you need to listen. Your intuition will tell you what you need to know. Okay. So we've got put away the computer. Working less will help strengthen your relationship. When whoever comes in, you're going to have to learn how to make space for this person, Virgo. I know, you know, a lot of you are all about your coin. You're trying to make your money. You're trying to establish yourself. And that's a beautiful thing. But if you want this relationship, you know, want a relationship, whether it's with this person or anyone else, and I feel like you do, or you wouldn't be watching this, I also feel like you have to make space. Just like you make space, you make time to work on the things, you know, the passions that you love and stuff like that. You have to do the same thing for your person. Okay. Then we've got play hard, find time to laugh, goof off, and enjoy each other. Okay. So this is about, you know, having more balance in your life. You can't just focus on one thing, put all your eggs in one basket and expect things to be balanced. Okay. All right. So let's get those messages from your person. Okay. So we've got, I know I was a distraction from your pain. So many things remind me of you. I regret lying to you. And I'm afraid to contact you. So this person, you know, I feel like you intimidate them, Virgo. And I also feel like a lot of it is guilt from the way that they treated you. Because like I said, once they wake up, it's like all that stuff comes crashing down and they start to feel ashamed about, you know, how they, you know, how they were with you. Especially, you know, because I feel like most of you didn't deserve it. You know, I know it takes two to tango, and you may have, you know, the things that you did may have triggered them, but I don't feel like you had any kind of negative intention. I feel like, you know, it was just them in that pride and ego and just, you know, going wild, just losing their damn mind. Okay. All right. I hope this helps. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to book a personal reading, there is a link in the description box below. Please have a good day and a good rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, Virgo.